window on the world around you, Saturday night at 7.
Closed captioning for Reel to Reel is brought to you in part by Providence Place, so that the hearing impaired can enjoy the same quality programming we all do. Providence Place at Ingleside, a retirement community offering lovely rental apartments and a magnificent chapel with daily mass.
Coming up on this special Christmas edition of Reel to Reel.
Home for the holidays. An Iraqi family finds a home in western Massachusetts.
And the Dan Kane Singers take a final bow at their annual Christmas Spectacular. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here are your Reel-to-Reel hosts, Sharon Roulier and Ken Lancaster.
Hello and welcome again to Reel to Reel today as we pay a visit to Bright Nights in Springfield's Forest Park. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bright Nights is now in its 12th season and is billed as New England's premier holiday lighting experience. Last year, 230,000 visitors viewed the displays, which are illuminated with well over 500,000 lights, Sharon.
The route of the festival winds 2.5 miles through Forest Park. This year's newest display is Santa's Magical Forest, which leads to Santa's Cottage.
Of course, there are the favorites, Seuss Land, Jurassic World Dinosaur Display, and Victorian Village. In fact, People magazine has named Bright Nights among the top 10 holiday attractions in the country, joining Radio City Music Hall, Disney World, and the fountains of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Bright Nights is open nightly through New Year's Day, so now's the time to bring the entire family.
Absolutely, it's beautiful here.
It sure is.
Imagine being a devout Catholic but not being able to attend Mass or receive the sacraments.
The family that Terry Hegarty introduces us to today faced that problem and many others while living in their native Iraq.
Even after fleeing from their homeland in 2004 and living in Turkey, life didn't get much better for the Hermes family.
As new arrivals to the city of Springfield, the 6 refugees are now free from the terrorism and persecution they faced in the Middle East, and they are especially grateful to be able to practice their Catholic faith.
Terry Hegarty reports now on how these Catholics from a Muslim land are faring and how one local parish has reached out and welcomed the Hermes family with open arms.
For Husni Hermes and his wife and family, attending Mass is something they definitely do not take for granted. The young Catholic family is one of the first families of refugees from Iraq to be resettled in western Massachusetts. In 2004, Husni, his wife Muntaha, their 3 children, and his mother left their Baghdad home where they faced violence and persecution and fled to Turkey. Just 3 days after their arrival in Springfield last month, the family was able to attend Mass for the first time in nearly 6 months, as they participated in a Sunday liturgy at St. Anthony's Maronite Parish in Springfield. The family only speaks Arabic and Chaldean. Suzanne Hanoush, a West Springfield resident and parishioner of St. Anthony's, is helping resettle the refugees. Suzanne speaks Arabic, and she translated Husni's remarks for Reel to Reel. He says participating in that first Sunday liturgy at St. Anthony's overwhelmed the family with happiness.
He was welcomed right in the front of the church by so many loving people. And he said to himself, "Oh my God, I feel at home." The Mass was heavenly. I understood everything because half of it was in Arabic, half of it was in English, but still I understood everything. I felt the love, the care, the priests, the people all together. He was very happy.
Referring to the terrorists in his homeland, Husni said, "They take your dignity, but they could not take away the family's faith." Like so many others, Husni and his family searched for a peaceful place where they could freely practice the religion they so love. And thanks to the cooperation of St. Anthony's Church and Springfield-based Jewish Family Service of Western Massachusetts, that place is Springfield. A rental property in the Forest Park neighborhood of Springfield serves as home for them. Suzanne says the first Mass attended by the new refugees was very emotional.
I saw all these parishioners running to them, helping them, walking in, welcoming them, talking to them in their language. I felt heavenly myself. What about them? I walked in the church and I see everybody sitting with them, talking to them. They felt at home. They had tears in their eyes, but they were tears of happiness.
Being Christian in a Muslim land can be difficult enough, but since the war in Iraq, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi Christians have been further persecuted and have had to live in fear for their lives.
They suffered. They had no life in Iraq. There is nothing that would let them go back. As Christian, they had no respect. As Christian, they had nothing to look forward to. He wants a future for his kids as human and as Christian. He wants a life for himself and his wife. He wants a job for himself. He wants to live as a normal person.
Husni says that in Turkey, the threat of being deported back to Iraq was a constant one, and the opportunities to attend Mass were scarce. The Hermes family are Chaldean Catholics, part of the Eastern Rite of the Roman Catholic Church. Monsignor David George says the Maronite Rite is similar to the rite practiced by Chaldeans. He said it was important to help the refugees.
Primarily, it's just a family in need, and if we can do some outreach as a community in terms of our ability to share our resources with those who are in need, that's primary and that's part of the gospel.
Suzanne, a native of Lebanon who grew up with war raging all around her, asserts that politics has nothing to do with why she, her pastor, fellow parishioners, and others have welcomed the Hermes family.
It comes from a Christian helping a Christian. That's the only reason we are doing it. You don't think about them, who they are and where they're coming from. You think of them as children of God, and you try to help them in that manner only.
Suzanne remembers distinctly the first thing that Husni's mother, Sarah, said to her.
She said, when we saw you, Christian people, coming to our home, we saw sunshine. That was the most beautiful thing we felt, you know.
However, amid the sunshine, the family has shed some tears of sorrow as they long for Husni's 24-year-old sister, Rima Hermes, who is still waiting in Turkey to be allowed to join the family here. The United Nations estimates that there are between 1 and 1.4 million Iraqis living in countries bordering Iraq. And while many of those will not qualify for refugee status, the United States has been asked to consider 10,000 Iraqi refugee cases. According to Jewish Family Services, more families like the Hermes family here will soon be resettled in Western Massachusetts. Suzanne, her family, and others from St. Anthony's have helped the Hermes family with their apartment, meal preparation, and transportation to doctor appointments, to buy groceries, and back and forth to church.
I thank them from the bottom of my heart, and I know they will never leave me, and I know they will be by my side until I stand on my feet.
Even though Husni is grateful, he still asks for one more favor from agencies around the world, that they help other Christians currently suffering that are still in and around Iraq, so that they will be able to come to the U.S. and live their faith.
He has a lot of hope for the future, and he's willing to do anything to stand on his feet. His hope is mostly for his children, not only for himself.
And this year, the Hermes family is enjoying having the freedom to celebrate Christmas in a new land with new friends. Reporting for Reel to Reel, this is Terry Hegarty.
And Terry tells us that donations of clothes and furniture have been more than enough so far, and for now, department store gift cards or bus passes would be a great help to the family.
If you'd like to help the Hermes family, you're encouraged to call St. Anthony's in Springfield at 732-0589.
And if you'd like to help with future refugee resettlements, please call Jewish Family Services of Western Massachusetts at 746-2001.
In Connecticut, it's called the Christmas Town, and with a name like Bethlehem, why not? Each December, this picturesque town of 3,400 people tucked away in the Litchfield Hills in Connecticut nearly doubles in size as tourists from far and wide converge on this little hamlet for the Christmas Town Festival. Local resident Kathy Haven is the 2007 festival organizer. She says the influx of people each December has brought tourists to Bethlehem by the busloads.
All parts of Connecticut, as well as we do have folks that come from New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. We've had a couple of buses come from as far away as Pennsylvania.
Kathy says it's true that in Bethlehem, it's Christmas year-round.
And we really try to help to promote that whole theme of the spirit and the giving and the goodness of the Christmas spirit.
Central to the community is the First Church of Bethlehem, led by the Reverend Pamela Brittle.
Bethlehem in the original Hebrew means house of bread, and so the church has become committed intentionally to be a mission-centered church and to become literally a home that feeds people in whatever that means, whatever hunger that means.
And what better place than Bethlehem to purchase a wreath to decorate your home? The bright red color grabbed the attention of this young shopper.
I like the bow.
Carol McCleary of Watertown has been selling her greenery at the Bethlehem Festival for nearly 2 decades.
It's fun and it's very authentic, and it's nice to start off in Bethlehem because we're heading for Bethlehem.
And no visit to Bethlehem would be complete without a stop at the Abbey of Regina Laudis and the chart-topping chanting Benedictine nuns who have just released their 3rd CD, this one with an Advent theme. The festival attracts not only the young, but the young at heart. It truly is a fun event for all ages. And Sharon, this is something that the town of Bethlehem, Connecticut has been doing for 27 years.
And they also have the post office where you can get your little Bethlehem, Connecticut stamp for your cards. Just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
A Christmas spectacular. The Dan Kane Singers staged their final Christmas concert.
It's all still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel from Bright Nights in Springfield's Forest Park.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Share your thoughts and comments with us at Reel to Reel, P.O. Box 1730, Springfield, Massachusetts, 01102-1730, or online at reeltoreel@diospringfield.org. You can also phone us at our 24-hour viewer phone line, 413-737-4744.
Hello, I'm Sister Catherine Homrak, co-director of the Catholic Communications Ministry of the Diocese of Springfield, thanking you, the faithful viewers of our Chalice of Salvation and Reel to Reel programs and readers of the Catholic Observer and our website, iobserve.org, for your ongoing support. The staff at Catholic Communications is thankful for the opportunity to share the good news with you each week. And we are especially grateful for your generosity of prayer and financial support for our ministry. You who have responded to our annual Christmas appeal this year are aiding us in replacing our aging equipment and helping to ensure our ability to bring the good news of our faith into your homes for years to come. And for that, we are deeply grateful. Please know that we all wish you a blessed Christmas season and a peace-filled 2008. Thank you.
For unto us a child is born, a son is given. Join Bishop Timothy McDonnell and Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon for a very festive Christmas Chalice of Salvation program, Christmas morning at 11 on 22 News, a special broadcast of the Christmas Eve 4 p.m. liturgy from St. Michael's Cathedral, to which all are invited. And for a complete listing of Christmas Mass times for churches throughout Western Massachusetts, log on to iobserve.org, your very own 24/7 Catholic news and information resource.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Rulier.
The season of Advent isn't just about Christmas shopping and holiday parties. It's time to reflect on the year gone by and prepare for the coming of Christ. Earlier this month, Reel to Reel's Julie Bollier traveled to the Calvary Retreat Center in Shrewsbury for the annual Advent concert sponsored by the Passionist community. The theme this year, Winter's Peace, couldn't have been more fitting.
For the past 3 years, volunteers have gotten together at the Calvary Retreat Center out in Shrewsbury to put on an Advent concert. This year's show, An Evening of Winter Reflections, is unique. Music director Mike Palumbo and retreat director Ernie Rivard explain how the performance is put together.
The music that we pick is a lot more subdued with really pretty melodies. I mean, people will leave here humming a lot of the stuff that we do.
Well, the concert is a reflective mix of readings and quiet music. The readings are a mix of poetry and scripture, and the music is a mix of contemporary and traditional Christmas music, as well as some general type of holiday music.
What the audience is about to hear tonight is not your typical Christmas show filled with traditional Christmas carols, but rather a mix of readings and musical selections described as a spiritual journey.
Just get me through December. I promise I'll remember. Just get me through December.
Excellent, very professional, very serious, very meditative, just all the way through. It put me right in the mood for Advent.
This is my first year, and I was especially happy to be here because of Michael Curry singing, because I knew him when he was 10 years old.
Christmas time around the world, but for every boy and girl, there will come a time they'll wonder how it started.
I'm a district sales manager for Interstate Brands, Wonder Bread, Hostess Cake. They're a great group of guys. They're Passionists. I've become really great friends with them, and I'll pretty much do anything they need or ask. So they're just a great group of people. So,
like Michael, local singers and musicians enjoy donating their time and talent.
They're all pretty much from central Massachusetts, a few from Shrewsbury and some from the surrounding towns of Westboro and Worcester and Webster and Dudley. All of them have regular jobs out in the world, pretty much. One fellow is a truck driver, the fellow who's the wind instrument, really extraordinary. And you wouldn't think of it, very gentle guy. But he drives a truck usually, but he also played for the Air Force Band years ago. Others work as teachers and nursing. One of them, a fellow that helps pull a good deal of it together, is music director in a local parish here in Shrewsbury.
In the infinite beauty, we're all joined in one.
Ernie says the performers come from all walks of life. Whatever they do during the day, they love performing, and people love their music.
They were all so beautiful and really nice because it wasn't all one type of song. I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a wonderful way to start the Advent season. It was beautiful.
Wishing all of our viewers a joyful holiday season. This is Julie Bollier for Reel to Reel.
It began as a local Christmas sing-along, and over the next 30 years it blossomed into an annual Christmas extravaganza. If all good things must come to an end, then the Dan Kane Singers went out in style with their final Christmas spectacular at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. As Reel to Reel's Lynn Sullivan tells us, this is also a story about a father who gave his teenage son, well, shall we say, a little push. The rest, as they say, is history.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holiday.
From a little parish in the Flats of Holyoke arose an astounding musical tradition that takes its place in history here in Western Massachusetts, the annual Dan Kane Singers Christmas Spectacular.
If you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home. They told me, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum.
They are some of our region's most popular entertainers. Their audience swelled to 5,300 for this year's sold-out sensation at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
When you have a local group of volunteers that are able to attract more than 5,000 people to a concert, that's history making.
The fact that they're all volunteers has made them also some of the area's most appealing unsung heroes in a uniquely New England fashion. With talent galore, they choose year after year to raise their voices in song simply to raise money for the needy. That's what the Dan Kane Singers are all about. In their most elaborate show ever, the Dan Kane Singers give new meaning to the word spectacular. It's a giant Christmas caroling sing-along, complete with lyrics on the big screens. Soloists of all ages spread their own brand of Christmas joy.
Till angels sing, amen.
Dan Kane, the musical mentor, takes his place in history with this production. It's 3 decades that the Dan Kane Singers have spread authentic Christmas magic throughout our region with these performances.
They taught me that there's so much talent right here in the Springfield area, and that if I could tap into it, older people, middle-aged people, especially the young, and show them this good music, that there's great stars right in your own backyard. Just got to give them a chance.
Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate.
He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no man. But you can do the job when you're in town.
A few years ago, Dan added a young soloist named Ashley Gearing to his lineup. The former student from Our Lady of Hope School has recently signed with Nashville recording studio Curb Records, and she plans to release her first album soon.
I feel you, Christmas. I know I found you. You'll never fade away.
The singing tradition arose from the Flats of Holyoke, where life meant hard work, family, and neighborhood. Something special happened at Rosary Church when the Rosaries began to sing. Their parish closed, but they stayed together.
And we started putting on shows upstairs at the Gleason Townhouse to raise money for the children.
Jim O'Leary, also one of the originals, recalls when their accompanist left just days before the Christmas show. A young Dan Kane, just 16 years old, was asked to step up.
And he came on and did it and did just a super job. And he has continued that year after year after year and gotten better and better and better.
Needless to say, I wasn't very good and I was scared to death, but jumped in, and with their great guidance, things grew over the years, and my friends became involved, and 16 became 30, 30 became 50, and now we're, of course, up to 150, 160 in tonight's performance. That's how it all started.
That was in 1977, when they became known as the Dan Kane Singers. This past September, Dan broke the surprising news that the 30th Christmas show would be the last. He asked the stunned singers to help him produce their most spectacular show ever.
We want to go out while we're doing really, really well and go out with class and style, and that's what we're doing tonight.
The Christmas Spectacular is the last large musical event in Western Massachusetts billed as a Christmas rather than holiday show.
He's the Prince of Peace, let's show him that we care. Let's put Christ back into Christmas this year.
For some reason, over the last several years, Christmas has become something that isn't as politically correct to say in schools, in the workplace, anything like that, and we have always tried to keep true to celebrating just Christmas.
And it's a credit to him as a leader to have been the cement that has held us together and the joy of singing for everybody. It's been a real terrific ride, I'll tell you. I'm so proud of him, and he's just a genuine guy, real wonderful.
I would like to say to my father first, thank you for the piano lessons. Thank you for pushing me into a situation which I think sometimes parents these days don't want to push their children. We all want to be their friends. They were, hey, get in there and try it. Really? Yes. And I did it because I was told to do it, and I've been thankful every day.
The Dan Kane Singers Christmas Show has raised tens of thousands of dollars for dozens of local churches, causes, and agencies. Although the large Christmas Spectacular becomes a memory of Christmases past, the Dan Kane Singers will continue serving their community through their music. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Lynn Sullivan.
Lynn tells us the Dan Kane Singers will continue to grace our community with their usual busy performance schedule all year long. In fact, they'll be bringing their Christmas music to the Holyoke Mall at Ingleside tomorrow, starting at noon, so the husbands will have something to do while their wives are out shopping.
Well, let's hope it's a long performance.
I'm sure you hope it will be.
And that's our program for today. We'd like to thank Amy Barron-Burke and Larry Finney and the rest of the team here who make Bright Nights possible every year for hosting our visit today.
Don't forget to join us again next week at the same time for a special year-end edition of Reel to Reel, when we take a look back at some of your favorite stories of 2007.
Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Have a great weekend and a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hairstyles for Reel to Reel, courtesy of Euro Coiffure, 16 Acres, Springfield.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.